What up guys, Nakamoto Crypto here. Today we gotta talk about how Dokwan's arrogance literally led to the downfall of Terra Luna, as this man's ego destroyed this entire Terra Luna ecosystem, wrecking his own investors, causing them to lose millions of dollars in investors' funds. Stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get straight to it. So Dokwan is still updating people. He still thinks that Terra Luna can survive from this. I hope it does, because millions of people lost their funds. I always think about the little guy on this channel. No one cares about the little old investor. So today I'm going to show you how his arrogance is the cause of their downfall. And this is the main cause right here. Exhibit A. Look at this thread. This was posted on November 28th of 2021. As this guy says in a thread, a few weeks ago I responded to @TBR90's tweet with a brief outline of how a wealthy attacker could not only break Terra Luna's money, but also profit heavily in doing so with a Black Wednesdays style of attack. Below I provided the detailed breakdown of how this could happen, and you would only need $1 billion in capital to do so. With Dokwan's arrogance, he responded to this saying, probably this is the most retarded thread I have ever read this decade. Silence is a perfectly acceptable option if stupid. So any billionaires literally following me, Dokwan, just go ahead and see what would happen to you. Literally inviting trouble at his doorstep. And this is the biggest mistake Dokwan has ever done. He knew that his stablecoin was shaky, there was no collateral backing him, and he goes on and making these statements. He have a history of literally bragging on Twitter, pissing on other projects, any stablecoin projects, just screaming that Terra Luna is much better than those protocols. And today, look what happened to him. Only a few months later, after that November 2021 post. Blackrock allegedly and Citadel, these are both institutional investors, big giant companies, billionaires that Dokwan was taunting, and they hit him up. They decided to go on to the Winklevoss twins, an exchange called Gemini, and this is where they borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin to launch this attack. And as soon as the Winklevoss gave them this 100,000 BTC, they immediately went to the market and bought 25,000 Bitcoin with UST Terra Luna stablecoin. Hang on to it at the side in anticipation to short this. And then they went on to Dokwan himself and asked him if they could buy the remaining amount with Terra UST. He took the bait unknowingly, and these guys literally played him right in front of his face. And as he's selling them these Terra Luna stable coins, they were literally dumping this alongside with the 25k BTC worth of Terra that they initially bought on the market, depegging the stable coin immediately, and alongside with the Bitcoin being dumped. So the entire Terra Luna ecosystem collapsed. And that is nothing but the fault of one man. Now, of course, Blackrock and Citadel denied any involvement of this. If you look at their excuse, it's the funniest excuse you would ever hear. When they approached Citadel with this, they just said, hey man, we don't deal with stable coins. An institutional investing firm literally lying to their faces, telling them, hey, we don't even deal with stable coins, so we have nothing to do with Terra's going down, when we all know that institutional investors love stable coins because they want that secure. They don't like that volatility. We all know this. They don't like getting into the crypto market and just targeting these volatile coins. They would rather just sit on stable coins and make their yield and get in and get out. So yeah, they definitely allegedly could have a big hand into this. That would make a perfect sense. And Dokwan literally killed his company by himself. Look at this. He posted today that I'm heartbroken about the pain of my invention, so-called invention, that brought this much pain on all of you. Just downplaying again, just being arrogant. And Richard Hart of Hex replied to him perfectly by saying, you know who got rich on this Terra Luna downward spiral fiasco? It is none other than exchanges and the people who promoted it, i.e. YouTubers and all these other influencers, and then dumped it on you, the little guy, and coin ranking sites selling ads on pages for Terra Luna basically. So he's saying just basically everyone got rich off this but the little guy. Who is the little guy? Richard Hart says that's the victims. You, yes, the small investors, an honest project deprived of users by the scam industrial complex. And this is absolutely true from Richard Hart. This is the downfall of Terra Luna. They don't care about the little guy, and the little guy unfortunately got hurt in this. Everybody else made money. Even the YouTubers who were telling people we lost millions of dollars, we lost hundreds of thousands of dollars with Terra Luna just going down, miss me with that. They were making money way before that promoting Terra Luna. They were shilling it to everybody else. So yeah, here's another sign that Dokwan was just an arrogant guy who was just going at everybody else for nothing, and this really humbled him. Take a listen to this interview with this lady and it will tell you everything you need to know about this Dokwan character.
I wonder how many of these companies you think are entering the space just because it's hot and there's a lot of funding versus the ones that will still be here, you know, like 2 to 5 years later.
95% are going to die.
Yeah.
95% are going to die. Yeah. But yeah, there's also entertainment in watching companies die too.
There's entertainment. Oh man, that's so evil. At least you get to learn from it, right?
Did you hear that? She even told him that is so evil. Like, did you hear what he just said? He said that there is also entertainment in just watching crypto companies literally die, go to zero. And look how the universe worked. This worked against him, and now his company is literally down in the dust because of this arrogance. Sitting on Twitter, flexing his money and just showing off to people that, you know, he's the good old god, powerful Dokwan. Nobody can touch him. I'm buying this much Bitcoin every day to make Terra Luna even stronger, showing off to people about how much Bitcoin he's buying to back up his uncollateralized stable coin that is not backed by anything at all. Nothing was backing Terra Luna. Anybody who was buying Terra Luna, that's just plain old stupid. A stable coin which was not collateralized, it wasn't backed by anything, literally anything, just investors' hopium, and based on that he fed on it. And this is the proof right here in the pudding. Listen to this.
Nothing and go back to nothing. It's a cycle of life. You begin from nothing and go back to nothing. And that's exactly where I want to be. So I think Terra is going to be the decentralized money standard across the entire blockchain, across all the blockchains. And I'm excited for Terraform Labs to contribute a significant portion of that early vision, but eventually to go back to nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Excited.
So there you go. Terra was backed by nothing. So he wanted it to be the decentralized, non-collateralized stablecoin asset, the best one in the universe and in crypto, in DeFi, and also to go back to absolutely nothing. So this was his plan all along. His investors was literally wrecked. Look at this guy. I really feel sorry for him. He tweeted, "Hey man, I'm really brokenhearted, dude. I lost my life savings and just sold my apartment to pay off this debt. But funds are not sufficient. The people who I borrowed from are literally after me. I owe them $20,000 and I have no way of repaying them. I have no other choice but to commit suicide." He goes on to say, "The pandemic has already destroyed everything in my life, including my business. And now this, 137 missed calls in 3 hours from creditors. They're after their money." So he borrowed money, put his life savings into Terra Luna, and this goes and happens. He's literally down to zero, forced to sell his apartments at a loss just to make amends now. And this is absolutely sad. These are the guys that no one really listens to them. No one really listens to the little guy when they lose money. And here's another exhibit of Dokwan's arrogance again. Dokwan was actually behind another project before he launched Terra Luna, right? He was behind another stable coin that literally failed. I'm surprised that people didn't do much research on this Terra Luna guy before they even invested into him. This is the importance of this channel, you know, like research these things before you get into them. putting emphasis on all of this just to prevent you from losing money, but it's always too late when things like this happen, you know. Dokwan was behind another stable coin that literally failed. This is according to an ex-Terra Luna worker. He literally broke it. He said that that stable coin was called Basis Cash, and I looked it up. Look at it right now. This was meant to be a stable coin. It literally dropped down to 0.007 now. Worthless stable coin. And Dokwan, this guy says it was nobody's fault than Dokwan, who literally ran this project back down to zero. This is him swearing at the guy. You know, he have a history of making people lose a lot of money, building up hopium. Great marketer, Dokwan, but just very, very irresponsible when it comes to people's money. I mean, look at this. People are even after his wife. People who lost money went to his wife's house, and now she is forced to be under emergency protection because of crypto people, just people that lost money with Luna. Irresponsible. The irresponsibleness of these leaders is the downfall of all of these projects. This is why I was so pissed off with elephant money and all of these exploits, and that Dokwan knew, like he literally knew that this was going to happen. People told him, yo, it only takes $1 billion to bring down your poor stable coin and to bring down Terra Luna. His reply to them, instead of telling his devs, hey man, we need more security, we need to back up the stable coin, collateralize it, bring more collateral, bring more assets in to back up our stable coin to make it stronger. Instead of doing that, his reply to them was, go ahead, any billionaires in my following, I will bring you down to your knees. Go ahead and try and attack me and see what would happen. It took literally a day for Blackrock and Citadel to allegedly do this to Dokwan, and they hammered him and they humbled him pretty hard. This was epic, man. They taught him a valuable lesson. Don't taunt people who have more money than you. It's simple. Flexing to people that have more money than you and claiming that you have a better project than them and nobody's untouchable on this earth. That's the thing. He should have humbled himself, but he wasn't humble. That's the lesson to be learned here. He needed to be humble to maintain his project, especially if millions of people are sign up under your stable coin. People are putting their life savings into this. I hear Terra Luna was paying up to 20% yields or something, to the point where people were calling it a Ponzi scheme, and he was just running around making jokes about it. This Dokwan character, you know. So he literally deserved this, man. Whatever he got, he deserved it, because he was a rude guy, very arrogant on Twitter. Even for the last few weeks, soon as I hear him announcing that he's buying more Bitcoin to back up his stable coin, I'm like, at this time of the market where Bitcoin is not even at all-time highs, it's on its way down, and you're talking about buying Bitcoin to back up your stable coin, which is the worst time to do so. Even buying USDT Tether would have saved him a lot of money than buying Bitcoin, which was an asset that was on its way down, to save his stable coin. So he knew about this attack, he did nothing about it, and this happened to it. This is bank teller all over again with elephant money. Knew about these attacks, potential vulnerabilities, you did not protect your investors' funds, and you got hit up and everybody lost money. How irresponsible is that? It's the same thing with Splasive as well. Most people, right, they give you their savings, but some will be bold enough to give you their life savings, trusting you, trusting your protocol, and then as they are trusting you, you realize how irresponsible these devs and these crypto founders are, pretty much. Yes, this is the lesson to be learned here. Dokwan's arrogance is the simple reason, the one and only reason that brought down Terra Luna is Dokwan. With that being said, like up the video, share it, subscribe for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.